Welcome back to our channel where we share updates and untold stories about Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. Today we bring you some news. Princess Catherine open up over secret fourth child's birth stuns the nation. Much public discussion has ensued about the present and future of the British monarchy in response to recent news articles that use anonymous sources close to the royal family and a royal charity document that is questioned for its legitimacy. At the heart of the controversy are two interconnected claims. First, that the Prince and Princess of Wales secretly welcomed their fourth child in a manner that deviates significantly from traditional royal practices. And second, that following the birth, the princess confided in her husband something deeply personal, saying, "I can't do this alone." These claims have caused some to reflect both within and outside the palace, and have prompted further contemplation of how an ancient institution might navigate the delicate balance between public duty and personal well-being in light of modern expectations. Midway through the year 2025, rumors began circulating that Catherine, Princess of Wales, had her fourth child in a manner designed to conceal it from the general population. In contrast to the meticulously orchestrated press around the births of Prince George 2013, Princess Charlotte 2015, and Prince Louis 2018, the notion of keeping things hidden is quite different. In the past, when the princess was missing from public responsibilities, Kensington Palace would officially publicize the news. The reason for her absence would often be her pregnancy-related hyperemesis gravidarum, a severe and debilitating type of nausea and vomiting. The deliveries concluded with the now famous sight of the happy parents emerging from the Lindo wing at St. Mary's Hospital in London to greet the photographers and broadcasters eagerly awaiting their new addition to the family. Contrarily, the reported privacy surrounding the fourth birth reveals an unprecedented and intentional attempt to shield the family from the usual scrutiny of the media. The princess reportedly informed Prince William, "I can't do this alone," shortly after the baby was born, quotations from which made it into the national press. The pressures of senior royal status, shifting expectations for women, and the monarchy's capacity to accommodate contemporary values regarding mental health, family life, and personal freedom have all been framed through these supposedly private remarks. It appears that both the individual and the institution have begun to reassess the balance between duties and the protection of privacy in this age of constant public scrutiny in response to the claims of a secret birth and the disclosure of this private confession, which have been seen by observers as potential turning points. The significance and substance of the reports are thoroughly investigated in this analysis. In it, we learn about the said pregnancy and delivery concealment, the princess's purported confession and its effects, and the potential fate of the royal couple and the country as a whole. This is accomplished by exploring the following topics: the tension between traditional practices and contemporary norms, the special challenges of parenting in a highly publicized household, and the ways in which the Crown may improve the working conditions of its employees by modifying its internal structures. There have been established protocols for the media and ceremonial aspects of reporting on the birth of a royal child for many years. A ceremonial that incorporates both private and public acts includes the inauguration of the Lindo wing, the issuance of a palace statement, and the placement of an easel outside Buckingham Palace to announce the birth of a monarch. Throughout the past 3 pregnancies, Kensington Palace discussed health issues and the expectant mothers. The princess's famed struggles with hyperemesis gravidarum were one topic of conversation. As a result, many were prepared to take a vacation from certain responsibilities and the subsequent scrutiny from the media. An obvious exception from this hereditary story is the purported concealment around the fourth pregnancy, which is accompanied by a distinct tactical option. There has been no official palace declaration, no staged public appearances to indicate that things were changing, and no discernible alterations to the princess's public schedule that may have prompted speculation according to media accounts. This has created an intentionally concealed atmosphere of solitude. The palace remained mute when asked about the claims, perhaps opting not to confirm or reject them. Unfounded rumors were allowed to circulate because of this. This indicates that the couple prioritized their family's seclusion above formal communication and the typical ceremonies, opting instead for a more low-key approach. There were two possible explanations according to those in the know. The first reason was an effort to shield the expectant mother and child from the prying eyes of the media, which has become an unfortunate reality of contemporary royal life, especially for the older members of the family who are heirs to the crown. Second, a desire for normality was supposedly the driving force behind the choice. As far back as their titles would allow, the prince and princess were adamant about giving their children a typical upbringing. It seems that the couple want to experience the intimate and personal aspects of pregnancy and early motherhood, far from the glare of the media and the strict protocol that accompanies royal family life. These anecdotes detail a delivery that occurred in a discreet location far from the Lindo wing and the media tents that often accompany royal births. Supposedly, Prince William and a small group of trusted medical professionals were gathered in a private area of a hospital. Many saw the couple's decision to forego the traditional post-birth photo call on the steps of a hospital ward as a statement about the boundaries they want to create between their private and public lives. Basic information generally shared after a royal delivery, such the baby's name, gender, and precise date of birth, was withheld even after the baby was delivered, according to official outlets. Additionally, the public sign's ceremonial installation at Buckingham Palace took some time. According to the allegations, the Waleses choose to disregard long-established regulations in order to protect their privacy, as shown by these omissions. According to sources, the princess stated something extremely intimate after the purported pregnancy and childbirth concealment. "I can't do this alone." They think that she spoke those words in a moment of exhaustion and honesty shortly after giving birth. Rather than being made for the public eye, they were hailed as an honest portrayal of the pressures of juggling the roles of mother and senior royal. This previously undisclosed detail brought a more relatable side to an otherwise composed public figure. The comment was straightforward, yet it had a deeper meaning. It highlighted the need of having a support system for those who are subject to high public expectations and hinted that endurance has its limitations. The disclosure of this private discussion prompted immediate and varied reactions from the public. Many were taken aback and felt terrible for the princess. Many individuals expressed their solidarity with her plight on public forums and social media. To express their solidarity with Kate, many began using hashtags such as "I stand with Kate." They saw her remarks as a sign that she was admitting that modern parenting is tough and that people need assistance. According to commentators, the phrase struck a chord with parents and caregivers who juggle work and family responsibilities. Some saw it as a chance to question long-standing royal practices, such as those that demand individuals put their ceremonial duties ahead of their own needs. Upon learning of this weakness, senior officials apparently began having serious and immediate conversations about the nature of the royal family's life and the challenges they encounter on a daily basis. According to those in the know, the royal family is reassessing its expectations, particularly for the women members who must juggle public duties with their responsibilities as moms. There seems to have been some debate about how to make royal service more humane and enduring after the princess's remarks, which may have been an individual plea for assistance or an indication of stress inside the institution overall. Rumor has it that the couple's lawyer is trying to figure out how to rearrange their schedules and responsibilities so that they can take better care of themselves. Apparently, Prince William was very distressed by his wife's confession, especially since he has long been an outspoken advocate for mental health awareness. People close to him believe the experience strengthened his resolve to advocate for institutional reforms that prioritize empathy and adaptability over rigid protocols. Viewed in light of his prior efforts to normalize conversations about mental health and facilitate access to care, this desire for a more supportive context is not surprising. The general public perceives his public speeches, financial contributions, and past political campaigns as evidence of his long-standing concern for these issues, rather than a sudden shift in his stance. Given the magnitude of the princess's remark and its impact on public perception of the royal family, the public's response has been fascinating. The monarchy has long been seen by the public as an abstract and formal institution. A sense of shared humanity seems to have returned as a result of this incident. Since many could identify with the princess's purported confessions of feeling overwhelmed, more people started talking about the importance of being vulnerable, honest, and fulfilling one's duty as a public figure. People were hoping that by making these adjustments, it would be more acceptable to admit when you're experiencing problems rather than seen as a sign of weakness, and that this would encourage public servants to have more reasonable expectations. The claimed event has also prompted the institution to reflect on its own actions. For some palace employees, the phrase, "I can't do this alone," represents a need for systemic reform, an admission that traditional forms of stubbornness may not be effective in the modern world. It is said that advisors and officials from the royal family are assessing the workload of top-working royals to see whether it is reasonable, especially for those with young children. A recurring theme in these discussions is the importance of developing a more adaptable and cooperative model of royal service, one that accounts for the realities of family life, the value of mental health, and the need for open and strong support networks within the institution. The idea of dividing up the work between other family members is being considered within that framework. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have been mentioned as examples of younger royals who may presumably step up to the plate and help the Prince and Princess of Wales out with their ceremonial responsibilities. The current highly centralized paradigm, which has concentrated representational and ceremonial responsibilities around a small group of senior individuals, would be drastically altered by any such redistribution. In order to keep the institution afloat, it may be necessary to adopt a more cooperative strategy that ensures everyone is doing their weight. Moreover, this shift would mesh well with broader cultural movements that promote authenticity and mental wellness. Perceived accessibility and emotional intelligence may be just as important as the monarchy's capacity to perform ceremonial duties in determining its continued relevance, given the public's growing need for honesty from public figures and leaders. Many have seen the princess's remarks as an opportunity to modernize the institution by making it more accommodating, promoting transparency regarding boundaries, and establishing legal safeguards for crown representatives. A prime example of this shift toward modernity is Catherine's approach to child rearing. In contrast to the traditional royal child-rearing style characterized by nannies and strict regulations, she has earned a reputation as an emotionally engaged, hands-on mother. Photographs show the princess attending public events while simultaneously dropping off her children at school and calming them down. These images have added credence to the narrative of a caring mother's desire to create a safe and nurturing environment for her children. Emotional literacy, early childhood development, and the need of establishing relationships in the early years are areas in which she has publicly worked and supported organizations. Her efforts to improve the lives of early children via research and concrete solutions are backed by the Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood. This choice aligns with our resolve to ensure that the early months of the fourth kid remain out of the public glare. In it, we see the concept that we shouldn't pay too much attention to the baby years since they're so crucial. The princess seems to be implementing her public policy aims at home by establishing a separate early education program for her youngest child, following the same guidelines she has advocated for in public forums. Along with keeping her children under wraps, her parenting style reveals a larger philosophy about how royal children should be raised as individuals, not as mere possessions. According to those who have seen her, she has encouraged Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis to pursue their interests and to concentrate on their own agency as they grow up. The public perceives her calm reactions to Prince Louis's too enthusiastic public performances, her affirmation of Princess Charlotte's self-assurance, and her continuous backing of Prince George's early schooling as components of a parenting strategy to assist the children in forging their own personalities. It is reasonable to anticipate that this method will be maintained or even intensified with the fourth child, giving them more freedom to decide for themselves whether or not to take on official royal duties down the road. The couple's parenting and privacy choices might be an effort to change the royal family in some way. They are subtly arguing for a future in which the family's public responsibilities are restructured to prioritize health and personal development above strictly defined ceremonial tasks. This perspective challenges the notion that royal offspring are bound to follow predetermined paths and instead calls for a system that more evenly distributes opportunities for individual success and civic responsibility. In the realm of institutions, the monarchy is now confronted with a timeless conundrum: how to preserve its ceremonial continuity and historical significance while also adjusting to changing social values that prioritize inclusivity, mental health awareness, and empathy. The crux of the matter is the princess's purported admission that she cannot handle all the obligations on her own. This exemplifies the tension that may arise when traditional values such as stoicism, self-sacrifice, and responsibility are at odds with more contemporary ones, such as privacy rights, family care priorities, and the idea that groups should be there to support individuals in developing emotional resilience. Rumor has it that the palace is in the midst of a transformation initiative that would see a thorough evaluation of current roles and schedules, with an eye toward developing more equitable and adaptable approaches to dividing up responsibilities. Prince William is said to be interested in mental health issues, thus he would certainly back these reforms. Rumor has it that he would even attempt to have systemic adjustments made that accommodate for people's limitations. Everyone seems to have strong feelings for the princess, thus any efforts to be more accommodating will likely be met with enthusiasm. Unlike previous royal scandals which sparked polarized public sentiment, this one has brought forth a rare consensus in support of empathy and compassion. More than just the immediate safety of the Wales family is at issue in these talks. How the monarchy may adapt while maintaining public support is a topic of discussion. The institution's ability to demonstrate a balance between tradition and the practical needs of its members, through the implementation of support services, the shifting of tasks when needed, and the allowance of more private family life, may strengthen its claim to continued relevance. However, the opposite is also true. Resisting change runs the risk of making the more widespread public distrust the government. Public servants are expected to be approachable, flexible, and open-minded by the general public. Symbolically and practically, the palace's choice will impact future generations' perceptions of the monarchy as well as day-to-day operations. What may be a watershed moment in the growth of the monarchy has been sparked by the rumored secret birth and the personal revelation associated with the princess. This occasion serves as a strong reminder that the Prince and Princess of Wales prioritize family life above conventional publicity. Their choice to keep the identity of their fourth kid secret is the most prominent manifestation of their long-standing commitment to keeping their children out of the spotlight. This stance reveals a fresh take on family leadership, one that puts an emphasis on the pragmatics of raising children in a culture that is always looking over their shoulders rather than on formalities. Larger impacts might result from that case. The next generation of royals may be more comfortable voicing their opinions on issues such as personal space, workplace ethics, and civic engagement. Younger members of the family may look up to the Waleses as an example of how to wield power, depending on their actions. With a more decentralized and powerful monarchy, where shared duty provides a network of support and relieves the burden off of any one household, the elevation of a greater number of family members to more prominent positions might be in line with this philosophy. As this story has progressed, public opinion has played a significant role. Many people have been moved by the tale of a senior royal revealing their limits, which has been widely shared online and in the media. Being vulnerable is seen as a way to connect with people, not something to be embarrassed of, according to the response which is part of a larger social trend. After seemingly discussing the challenges of balancing family and duty, the princess has gone from a powerful and composed public presence to someone who many now see as more tangible and personable. This shift in public opinion about the monarchy may have far-reaching consequences for the institution's legitimacy and adaptability. However, there are strategic and practical risks associated with this situation that must be properly managed. Despite the commercialization and abundance of information in the modern world, the royal family is consciously retreating into solitude. There have always been commercial motivations for news outlets to cover anything that provides an inside peek inside the palace. The decision to refrain from making regular announcements leaves room for speculation and opportunism, increasing the likelihood that unsubstantiated documents, reports, and leaks will circulate, making it more difficult for the palace to control the narrative and perhaps attracting unfavorable attention for an extended period of time. The family might be exposed in new and even more damaging ways if the silence that was intended to protect them becomes a breeding ground for gossip. Concerns about safety should not be overlooked. Authorities have a well-defined window of opportunity to ensure the safety of the audience and manage media access during public baby presentations outside of hospitals, regardless of how ceremonial they may be. Different security precautions are required for a disguised birth without predictable touchpoints, which might unintentionally create weaknesses that are harder to covertly monitor. Ensuring the family's security while also safeguarding their privacy is no simple feat. Personal safety is a responsibility of both the royal family and broader public sector organizations. Legal and constitutional concerns may be brought to light by a change in practice, even if they are not as pressing. There is significance to the acts of senior royals because of the unique constitutional role of the monarchy in the United Kingdom. Baptisms and births are still intimate family celebrations, but they now include succession and the spotlight. Should a trend of secrecy emerge, the royal family would do well to give serious consideration to the best way to reconcile individual autonomy with the transparency required by the Constitution. To save the public from having a more difficult time understanding the line of succession and the responsibilities that come with it, this is being done. Considerations of a political nature are also present. Any effort to make ceremonial continuity less visible might be seen by Republicans and others who dislike the monarchy as evidence that the monarchy is failing to perform its public obligations, and as a result, is losing its public purpose. The counter-argument offered by reformers is that the monarchy may regain popular support and remain in power with a more empathetic and progressive leadership. Therefore, the palace has to think about the legitimacy, political neutrality, and national unity of the country in the long run, not simply about the members' immediate welfare. When approached with caution, there are a variety of methods in which institutions might undergo change. There has been a lot of talk in the comments about how professionalized administrative institutions may aid the royal family by making more members of the royal family representatives. More precise work descriptions, event calendars, mental health support programs, and parental leave policies tailored to senior royals are also possibilities. These measures would make work-life balance more commonplace by attempting to standardize flexibility and facilitate workload sharing among employees. An alternative strategy for communicating is being considered one that finds a middle ground between being overt and understated. A compromise between extremes, manufactured publicity, or complete silence may lie in strategically timed releases that shape the public narrative while maintaining confidentiality. Scheduled announcements centered on the family's welfare and restricted opportunities for the public to express their support might be the result of this. Leaks and speculative reporting would be less likely to occur if this were to happen. Good communication and well-defined reasons for privacy may mitigate some of the negative aspects of secrecy. The advisory groups and support staff that work with the royal family will likely also be impacted by operational reforms. There may be a greater presence of mental health specialists, organizational design consultants, and family policy experts in the residences of the senior royals. Meeting the princess's urgent needs and demonstrating the organization's concern for its workers' well-being required by modern consumers could be as simple as making counseling appointments more accessible, letting individuals pick their own schedules, and providing greater support to parents. Public rituals, historical symbolism, and ceremonial continuity all contribute to a sense of national tradition, and if these changes are implemented, they will test the monarchy's ability to adapt without removing its many positive qualities. The rate and magnitude of change are crucial factors to consider. Small, clearly stated adjustments are more likely to be accepted than large, abrupt, and unclear ones. New ideas may coexist with reverence for the past if the institution is strengthened via reforms that protect its employees and provide reliable representation. Questions of social responsibility regarding work and family life are further illuminated by the Wales's individual choices. The claimed admission by the princess resonates true because it mirrors the struggles that millions of working parents face as they attempt to juggle work, caring for their children, and their own health. By bringing the demands of an elite family into a broader discussion about workplace design, maternity leave, and mental health services, the dialogue that links royal family life to everyday concerns has the effect of normalizing such expectations. Here the occurrence goes beyond the realm of royalty. It heightens public discussion over the balance between responsibility and compassion in modern societies. Opposing opinions provide valuable context. A more professional royal family and a distribution of representational duties are two ways that other constitutional rulers have handled comparable issues. Members of the governing families in many nations do more detailed briefings in the manner of ministers, which allows for a more predictable allocation of duties. Due to its lengthy history, the British monarchy cannot be directly modeled after any other system. Nonetheless, the UK may adopt and modify certain administrative practices, such as defined roles, consistent leave rules, and official mental health provisions, without sacrificing its ceremonial character. There was a significant role for the media in this. The circumstances that transform personal remarks into public demands for action are produced by a complex mixture of traditional media, social media, and political discourse. Public trust is strengthened by responsible media that safeguards personal information and verifies its sources as opposed to sensationalism, which undermines it. The palace has a delicate balancing act to do between two competing interests: the media's love of exclusives and the potential impact of anonymous sources on long-form pieces. In order to provide a more comprehensive response, we should consider collaborating with editors, facilitating the process of suing reporters who violate our privacy, and being transparent about our public speech restrictions. Just as important is the cultural conversation going on inside the monarchy about gender roles and expectations. The princess's remark highlighted the disproportionate burden that women often face while juggling public responsibilities with caring for others. The issue extends beyond the realm of royalty. The monarchy's ability to adapt to modern family norms will be judged by how the royal household handles gender dynamics, which includes distributing responsibilities equally between couples, providing institutional support for caregivers, and actively encouraging male parental involvement. The consequences on the Wales family's life should not be minimized. Dealing with the intense public attention while also making significant changes to the way activities are completed and personal information is secured puts a strain on relationships, professional advisors, and extended family. The public's and the institution's positive responses could lighten the burden. However, situations might become worse and more difficult to alter if blame, continual media attention, or political manipulation of the issue is allowed. The future is still cloudy about the immediate outcomes of the palace discussions. Big institutional changes need thorough consideration, consensus, and management, so they will not occur immediately despite people's openness to change according to the findings. In the short time after her rumored secret birth, the princess's private cries for help have gone public, and disputes have ensued about the princess's workload, privacy, and institutional assistance. If the king and queen decide to shake things up, the monarchy may end up more in line with contemporary values. In doing so, they would be honoring tradition, while also helping the people who stand in for the institution in a compassionate and practical way. Transparency about ideals and honesty regarding actionable items will be crucial regardless of the path chosen. An organization may fulfill its own and the public's requirements with a well-crafted narrative that highlights the significance of privacy, family welfare, and the institution's plans to assist members. One way to strengthen the bond between the crown and the people is to communicate clearly while also honoring people's dignity and restating the crown's dedication to serve the public. A private, honest confession coupled with an alleged covert birth has in a nutshell accomplished more than just garner media attention. It has started a serious public debate about where responsibility ends and family and mental health begin, as well as how a long-standing institution can adapt to remain relevant. The private and public lives of the Prince and Princess of Wales will be affected by their decisions on privacy, parenting, and the division of tasks. In light of these changes, the monarchy faces a choice: adapt to the values of the society it represents by becoming more collaborative and compassionate, or hold on to traditions that are becoming more and more at conflict with modern expectations. Whatever the outcome, this event has prompted fresh consideration of the Crown's role in protecting its subjects and may mark a turning point in modern British royal history. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for now.